Good afternoon. I'm Dana Tyler. We are going to head to Elizabeth, New Jersey. There was a huge fire this morning. Let's get details about it.
The FDNY has arrived by vessel in the harbor. Currently, as I announced this morning, there were 3 buildings where the fire started in. It spread to 2 additional buildings. There were 5 buildings that were engulfed with flames. Currently, we are not calling the fire contained, but we are hoping there will be no more extension of the fire. There has been a firewall put up in resisting the spread of the fire, and we're confident that we're going to hold it where it is at the moment. We expect to be here for many more hours today, probably all through the weekend. There'll be a fire watch. As you can see, the smoke has gone down in a big way. Regarding the fighting of the fire and technical questions, Director Burns will answer that.
Well, we got Chief Baracco here.
Chief, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see him. Chief Sal Baracco is here as well. He's been here since this morning fighting the fire. We're in the process of transitioning out the crew that was here all night back to some firehouses. We're calling in overtime on another shift. A lot of the neighboring towns are currently sitting in vacant firehouses in the city of Elizabeth, if in case something else happens in our city. So the transition is going to occur now, where some of those volunteer companies will get to go home.
Mr. Mayor,
yes, sir.
Any updates on environmental concerns and residents in the area have low water pressure? When do they expect that to return?
Ruby Contreras here is a press officer. The DEP has issued a statement. They have put out a statement about 20 minutes ago. There are about at least five monitors that I saw back there that are monitoring the air. There is no threat to the residents or the neighbors in the area. Water pressure has been maintained here in this area of the city, so there has not been a great impact to water pressure. The FDNY is pumping an awful lot of water from the bay, from the Arthur Kill, on the location at the moment. We've had one firefighter with a minor injury has been transported to the hospital. We expect a full recovery, and he should be released soon. He was not injured in the fire. He was injured outside.
Was that due to the ice and the cold?
Yes, exactly. Yes, sir.
Because of the quality of the air, do you plan to maintain them closed for today and maybe tomorrow?
Tomorrow's Saturday, so that's an easy, yeah. So to update you on the school, School 52 behind me was closed early in the morning. Not knowing what to expect is the reason 52 was closed. School 13 just down the street had a delayed opening, but they functioned all day. We fully expect School 52 to open on Monday morning.
Mayor, may we ask the chief some of the challenges
sure.
that...
Chief. Sure. Director.
Yep. Chief, can you say your name for us first?
Sure. Salvatore Baracco, last name B as in boy, A-R-R-A-C-O.
Sir, what are some of the challenges you're facing fighting this fire?
Well, the weather was an initial challenge, obviously, with the cold temperatures and icing conditions. Also, there was advanced fire on arrival, which obviously requires multiple alarms from the onset, which takes a little bit of reflex time in order to establish water supplies. We also were able to get additional water supply out of the Arthur Kill by way of what we call drafting. These methods are very normal to undertake, but manpower and labor time and reflex time extensive. I believe there was a question raised about the water in the area. The complex is fed off a city main, but then there's a pump that augments that. So that's we're going to be transitioning over to the yard hydrants to not jeopardize the water pressure in the community.
Chief, can you just walk us through what happened from the beginning this morning, and how long do you think the fire was engaged before someone called 911, because it is such an isolated area?
It's actually undetermined exactly what was transpiring prior to the initial call, but the initial call came through as a passerby seeing flames. They called it immediately in, and we responded immediately and sounded additional alarms right from the onset.
What was the scope of that when they saw it? Because obviously, how cool
they had fire showing in one of the buildings of the complex.
And then it spread to 3 of the buildings.
Correct. A lot of those buildings throughout that complex are attached, or even if they have walls in between them, there's normally penetrations from one building to another, which contributes to the avenues for fire travel.
What can you tell us about the dead hydrants, lastly? Were there dead hydrants inside the building?
There were no dead hydrants inside the building.
I have no reports of any dead hydrants.
3 buildings destroyed. Were they all vacant?
It's undetermined at this time which buildings were actually occupied and in use, but at the time of the fire, there were no civilian occupancies in any of the buildings.
Any materials fueling this fire, sir?
Nothing out of the ordinary.
So 5 buildings involved right now. Is that accurate? 5 buildings involved, and how many buildings in all in the complex?
Yeah, there's a lot of buildings in the complex. The buildings that are engulfed in fire were built in the 1940s. They're not the original structures from 1870s.
Can you clarify F6? Which business is that?
I can't clarify the names of the businesses. After I talked with the site manager earlier today, the product that's in the buildings has been home goods, clothing, a windshield company, as well as a kitchen maker, stoves and things of that nature.
Mayor, can you tell us how many people were employed by these, warehouses? And
total complex, there's probably between 1,000 and 2,000.
And most likely some folks.
Some people still worked in these buildings.
Some would lose their jobs.
Some are going to. The businesses they're done. Yeah, for lack of a better way.
I'm sorry, my apologies. I mean, the community believes the Singer sewing machine building burned. Can you clarify
That is not.
exactly what structure?
This is one of the original Singer sewing machine buildings. Behind here is another long structure that was probably one of the first buildings built in 1872. The property we are standing on was also an original Singer building similar to this that ran down the street this way, that has been removed for the school. It was behind there. So the part of the original Singer has already been removed where we are, and that is still standing. The long building that is next to the fire and was one of the original Singer buildings is where the fire department has done an excellent job in stopping the spread of the fire to that location.
Can you talk about the extent of the damage in all of the 3 buildings?
They're done. The 3 buildings are gone.
Gone completely?
Gone. Yeah, the roofs have caved in, the walls have caved in, they're gone.
What was the nature of the firefighters' injury?
It seems to be just climate related.
Yeah, climate related. On the ice. Slip on the ice.
Yeah. Someone can step back to the podium. What happens from here? What's the timeline and what's going on now?
We're going to be here for all day and probably tomorrow, and there'll be a continuous fire watch till the fire is completely out. But this fire will not be out in the next few hours.
So clarify, is it just smoldering and we were watching the...
No, there's a fully engulfed fire right now.
In which building?
It's called the F buildings. Okay?
F is in Frank.
F is in Frank.
It's 3 destroyed, 5 buildings totally involved.
Yeah, but like the chief said, these buildings are connected, and so the fire has breached into the next building. So it's tough for me to say that it's building 1, building 2. It's the F, according to them, it's the F conglomerate of buildings.
Where are we in the investigation in terms of what caused it?
That won't happen for days. Pardon?
When it's out,
when it's out, you can. Yeah, you can't get in there. So.
Were there any products or materials that were stored in any of these buildings that accelerated the fire?
No, the chief's already answered that question. He said no.
In terms of perspective, this is the second largest, big fire along the Elizabeth Ford. Last year, I believe we had the ship fire, where firefighters were injured. Can you just talk to me about your guys and the training and how they're doing? I mean, they have been very, very large fires, in this area. And can you just give us some insight?
Well, Director Burns can talk about a fire that occurred 20 years ago, the Bay Avenue fire, and compare it.
The Bay Avenue fire, we fought the Bay Avenue fire for over a month. That was down by IKEA in that area. But as far as the shipboard fire, we're trained to fight fires in ships. We've been making connections with the companies in that area, and they're actually giving us tours on the ships. And we've been training for quite some years.
But it hasn't been taxing on the guys?
No, it hasn't. No, not at all.
Mayor,
we good?
Mayor, someone already asked this, but can you just clarify again just the economic impact? I mean, you've already mentioned hundreds, I don't know, hundreds or...
Well, I don't think it's hundreds of employees that are going to lose their job, but I do think there is a sizable impact to those businesses that were there. One guy started his business in his 20s, and it's all gone. So I don't know the individual owners of the businesses that are impacted. I was only dealing with the overall site manager on what was in there. Those questions can be answered, but probably not today.
Which business is that you're referring to for the guy?
I don't know the name of the businesses. That's why I don't know the names of the individual business. That quote was from the site manager, that he started his business here in the 20s, when he was in his 20s, and he's been here over 30 years, and he's lost everything. I don't know the name of the business. I'm sorry about that.
How many businesses were involved?
I do not know how many businesses. I know at least 3, but there could be more.
How many businesses are?
That's a really good question. I don't think anybody really knows except for the site manager, because when it was Singer, it was one huge business. Now, all of these buildings are broken up into small businesses, some manufacturing, some warehousing, some storage. I don't have that information though. All right, we good? We're good for tonight too? All right, if there's anything else, Ruby Contreras will send out a notice, or if you need anything, get a hold of Ruby and she will get me and we'll follow up, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
We've been watching a news conference from Elizabeth, New Jersey Mayor Chris Bolage, Chief of Fire Department Salvatore Baracco, and the fire director as well, Patrick Burns, after this huge fire started before dawn in Elizabeth, New Jersey at a huge complex, a warehouse complex. The flames so intense, 4 alarms, just an incredible scene. Multiple fire departments called in, volunteer departments, as well as paid departments, including the FDNY. Water was an issue. They did use water from the Arthur Kill, a procedure called drafting. As we know, no injuries directly from the fire. There was an injury to a firefighter, but this was not injured. He was not injured doing the firefighting. Now, as you're looking at this picture here, this place is just south of Newark Airport, and you see the smoke still, and the mayor and the fire chief just said to us, this is still a fire that is fully engulfed. It's under control per se, but it is still fully engulfed. They've put up firewalls, so to speak, around the area, including using one of the sides of what was the old Singer sewing machine building, but you can see the water going on that right now. So in total, 3 buildings, and these are old warehouses, and they're all connected. So 3 buildings, the roofs caved in, the walls caved in from this heavy-duty fire. One thing we learned was what was inside these buildings, and the chief said products, things, home goods things, not the store itself, clothing, stoves, kitchen equipment, and windshield, the manufactured products for windshields. So again, no people were in there. There are no fatalities here. 1 person injured not fighting the fire, but boy, what a challenge this was earlier today. The mayor's saying it'll take several days before what's left of this fire will be put out. He says what they're under is called a fire watch, which means, again, the firewalls to create an edge to the fire, as well as just the continuous fighting of the fire. I started to talk about Newark Airport and what is seen, seeing some of the planes as they flew by that. However, no airplanes were affected, no flights were affected when they were in the air coming in. So that's about it right now. One of the schools nearby, 52, did close early because of this fire. And the last thing I want to say is about the Department of Environmental Protection, because the governor was called and asking the governor to speak to the DEP because there were concerns about the quality of the air and the quality of the water nearby. And what they know now is that things are safe. The New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection on the scene, and they were doing stationary and mobile air monitoring, but from what the mayor and what the DEP says, elevated levels of concern from the smoke not found. Not indicated any elevated levels of concern from the smoke. They're going to continue to monitor the air as, of course, we've got some wind out there, and there are people who live nearby. A lot, as we said, the airport, there are hospitals, daycare facilities. This is even though it's a warehouse area and a lot of cargo coming in and out of there, it's also a place where people live. And again, you're seeing the smoke. Lots of pictures we have of the smoke, which is gone all day. So we will continue our coverage on CBS 2 News at 5 and 6. I'm Dana Tyler. That wraps us up right now on CBS News New York. Any updates, you'll find them right here.
This has been breaking news.